Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGo Offense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGo Offense. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you another edition of 4 Downs with the Czar here at MetLife Stadium, where the Buffalo Bills came into town once again, was here last week against the New York Jets, and the end result was the same. They got a victory against a New York City local team. This time it was the New York Giants by the score of 28-14. Some quick offensive takeaways in this ball game. You look at the Giants offense, Saquon Barkley is their game breaker. The opening drive was all Saquon Barkley, led them down to a touchdown, and after that, the Giants got away from Barkley, got away from what worked early in this game against that pressure-style defense of Buffalo, and couldn't get their rhythm going in the passing game, partly due to suspension, injury, and overall ineffective and inexperienced play coming from that core. Coach Shermer talked about the strain that puts on a team because of the lack of experience and depth at the position.
I think we just challenged better. That was more of the focus. Make sure we just challenged everything, and we did. And you know, I think you know, they got a couple of incomplete passes within the drive. They were completing passes as early, and that was keeping drives alive. When you get those incomplete passes on first, second down, it puts pressure on your third downs, and I think that's where. And then they had a couple penalties. So some of it was, and I think basically from a defensive standpoint, we just challenged more and better.
Looking at Buffalo in this matchup, their offense was on fire in the short to intermediate passing game. The biggest X factor was quarterback Josh Allen and what he was able to do creating outside of the pocket. You love the chemistry that he has with John Brown, who came over via free agency from the from the Baltimore Ravens. He was a guy that came in and was able to break off routes when Josh Allen scrambled out of the pocket, found himself open a lot and received the football. So Allen's athleticism and mobility and willingness to overcome mistakes was excellent in this game. He didn't have any turnovers. Yeah, they were flirted with a couple, but he didn't have any turnovers, which was key, which is something that he had a lot of in week 1 against the Jets. So Josh Allen's play was the biggest takeaway offensively for the Buffalo Bills. Moving on to the defensive side of football, starting with the New York Giants, defensively is where they had their issues. In coverage, there was a lot that was going on the back end, throwing at DeAndre Baker, who had his issues in figuring out what was going on from certain concepts. He was playing off a lot. He was getting a lot of cushion, and guys were just targeting him early in the game. Now, he was able to double back in the tail end of the ball game and have that success throwing to what was going on. Moving over to the defensive side of football, I thought there was the issue for the Giants right there. 1, they couldn't get pressure. 2, they couldn't keep contained because Josh Allen kept getting outside the pocket. And they had some coverage issues that reared its ugly head once again against the Bills that we saw against the Dallas Cowboys. DeAndre Baker had a rough go at it early on in this ball game, but started to pick up the pace later on. And Coach Shermer spoke about how important it was to keep him in the game and keep his head in the game in his post-game presser. Able to get DeAndre Baker to settle down after a rocky start. He played better toward the back end of the game.
Yeah, well, you just got to keep talking to him. You know, this is his 4th half of football in the NFL, and you know, just got to keep talking to him. I mean, the guys did a good job of coaching him. He's a tough guy, and he learns from every play that he's involved in, and he'll continue to learn as he goes forward.
For the Buffalo Bills, another stellar performance on that side of the ball. While they didn't have the success early in the game, after that first drive, the Bills defense clamped down, shut down Saquon Barkley, who still went over 100 yards, but they really kept him quiet. They really put the squash on the passing game. Those receivers had nowhere to run, no free reign to get open. They did a great job in taking away Evan Ingram. So the Bills defense at all 3 levels, I thought, played an excellent game. Player of the game for the Giants, obviously the only offensive player that I thought really came to play was Saquon Barkley, so you have to give it to him. And on the other side of the ball, player of the game, I'm going to give it to Josh Allen. 2 weeks in a row here at MetLife, we saw a guy starting to grow up and start to play really good football, efficient football. He avoided the turnovers today, played really good situational football. His athleticism kept drives alive. So Josh Allen is quietly starting to turn the corner as the Bills franchise quarterback. So that's a wrap here from MetLife Stadium. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also, be sure to tune in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night on the Game Plus Network at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Football Game Plan's Power Rankings, Football Game Plan's NFL All 32 show, and Football Game Plan's College Football Tailgate.